Hi, and welcome to the Comfy Red Couch. My name is Tracy, and I'm your host. And today I have a co-host with Scout. And if you happen to hear coughing and gross noises in the background, that would be my husband Greg, who's homesick and unfortunately is very, very under the weather. And if you've ever had a sick husband at home, you know what that's like. So excuse the noises in the background if they happen. They might. Anyway, hello and welcome to the podcast. As I said, my name is Tracy and I am Tracy RR on Ravelry and I am Comfy Red Couch on Instagram. You can find me also in the Comfy Red Couch thread on Ravelry. So there's a spot to put finished objects and lots of lovely things you've been working on there, a little bit of chatter as well. So come and join us if you'd like to. Welcome to anyone who is new to the podcast. Last week I forgot to add the welcome in this section. So anyone who is new to the podcast, this is a podcast about knitting and crafting. I talk about tea. I talk about lots of lovely things that have come into my house as well. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. You know that I always love having you come and join me on the Comfy Red Couch along with Scout. And I'm getting used to the new surroundings. This is actually a really, really comfortable couch. It may not be red, but you know, we've got the accents there. I do have this quilt that I put over the couch during the week, so it does stay cleaner. And Scout comes up because it is still winter and you get little muddy paws, and muddy paws on a new-ish white couch is never attractive. So we're settling in nicely, and that's always a good thing. So today I have lots of lovely things to share. I have an almost finished object. I have a finished object that I've shared before, but I'll talk a little bit about that as well. And I have a hoe to share, so I'm really excited about that. And I've got some yarn spoilers, 2 yarn spoilers in fact, so I'm really excited to share those with you. So let's start off with some tea time. And today I am drinking out of the special china. There goes Scout. And of course the special china has a lovely saucer. So this is all gold, and I bought this at the little tea shop in Toronto called Pippin's, and they sell china that I guess people have just a cup and a saucer of china. So I loved this one. The shape is really quite interesting. I don't want to tilt it too much because that will mean less tea for me and more tea for the floor, which is never a good idea. So I do have a very pretty china set today, and today I am drinking some wonderful tea that my lovely friend Tracy from Nora George sent me. And this is Withered, and it is English Rose black tea. So keeping it black. I wish I had bought some lemons while I was out this morning, but that's how it goes. So some lovely English rose tea in a lovely china cup, and cheers. Very nice. It's got a nice sort of rosy flavor to it, if you were to drink roses, and of course I love my black tea, so a nice bit of caffeine this morning. So let's get started with the podcast after one more sip. And now it is time for, I think I'm actually going to throw It's a Softness in here today because I've got some sock things to talk about today, and it's been a while since I've shared just some socks. So let's talk about It's a Softness. And I will first start off with my lovely New Year's Day cast on that is in my Advent calendar bag from So Sweet Violet, and I love this bag. I've been taking it to work with me this past week, and it's had lots and lots of admirers. Today I was on the So Sweet Violet site. I want to get one of her little wish balls, so I bought a pink wish ball to put on this because I love having little wish balls on here. So I'm going to adorn it a little bit more with a wish ball, and that will be coming in the mail soon with some more butterflies because Jules had some more butterflies put on her site today. So I was very, very excited about that. So what do I have in here? I have a half finished object, and that would be my lovely Wildflowers and Honeycomb sock. And this is by Olivia of This Handmade Life. And let me just pull a sock blocker so that we can, because of course I haven't blocked the sock yet because it's not quite finished, but here is my beautiful sock, which has just such a fun heel. And this is of course the honeycomb part. And I finished this, I think, on Thursday. I picked it up seriously again on Tuesday, I believe it was, because Monday I finished the other half finished object that I can't share you, but I'm going to share my yarn, which I'm really excited about. But this is my Nora George Where the Winter Roses Grow yarn that came with the Advent kit from Jules. And I have a half a skein left to knit up into the second sock. So I am excited to get that on the needles in the next few days. So it'll be really nice to have some lovely New Year's Eve socks. And I'm also doing this for the knit along that Olivia is holding as well. And I'll put the hashtag for that knit along in just right there. So that is one half finished object that I have done this week. So very excited to share that. My next project that I'm going to talk about is from the Sock Society. This is going to be the first pattern from the Sock Society that will be released on February 5th. And it is in my lovely pink hazel commuter bag. And I just love this bag. I love this fabric. It's so fun. And I am excited to share the yarn this week that I have chosen for the first Sock Society pattern. And it is knitting up so beautifully. And the yarn that I have chosen is this gorgeous skein called Sleeping Beauty. And this is from Cauldron of Colors. So Sarah of Cauldron of Colors dyed this up. And the first time I saw it in her shop, I fell in love with this colorway. So I am absolutely thrilled to be knitting it finally. And it is a merino with a Donegal net, so it's got a little bit of texture in there and some little black blips. And I think it is knitting up just wonderfully. And it's so soft. And I am so excited to share what this sock looks like with you once the pattern is released on February 5th. So I don't think I'll be sharing it next podcast, but the one after. But of course, I'll put photographs on Instagram. So this is Sleeping Beauty, and just such a fun colorway. And oh, as I said, I cannot wait to share what these look like knitted up. And oh, so soft, so soft. And Sarah has done an absolute amazing job with this yarn, and just, oh, I can't say enough about it. So this is my yarn for the Sock Society first pattern. And I was given permission to share that yesterday, and I'm so glad that I was able to. So there is a half finished object in here. I've got the remainder of the yarn to knit up this week so that I've got it all done. I'm planning to cast on probably tomorrow, and on Thursday I'm going to be in the car for a little bit, so I'm hoping to get a lot of car knitting done. And I'm hoping to have this second sock off the needles and blocked, photographed for the weekend so that it's all ready to go on the Monday when the Sock Society is released. And if you missed the first round of the Sock Society, Helen has re-released it at an early bird special. So if you're wanting to get in, oh, the first pattern is so pretty. I can't say enough about it. I can't say anything about it, unfortunately. The final thing that I have to share on It's a Softness today is something I've already shared on the podcast, and these are my lovely dewdrop socks, and the pattern is by Tracy Arnold of Nora George Yarns, and these are my Molly Weasley. And I shared these before Christmas, maybe in November-ish, early December, something like that. I had asked Tracy, because I was getting, I finished these last April, and I had kept them aside, just sort of waiting for her to release the pattern. And so she said to me that she was thinking she might not release the pattern, which I thought was a huge shame. And so she said I could share them on the podcast. So I did. And even better, this past Friday, she released the pattern. And this is the dewdrop sock pattern. And I've just done it in a single color, Molly Weasley. And I know some of the other test knitters did it in 2 colors. So they had the contrast cuff and heel and toes. But I have to tell you, I could not put this pattern or this yarn down when I was working on this. And I think I worked on it from April 2nd to the 8th. So I do work full time. So for me to finish a pair of socks in less than a week is amazing. And yeah, I was supposed to be doing other things, but I just could not put these down. And I love them. They are so comfortable when I wear them. So I have worn them a few times. They've been washed a few times. I was actually wearing them on Thursday, and because it gets cold in the nighttime, I wore them to bed. So Friday morning, I had my socks on in bed when I woke up, and I usually lie in bed, check Instagram for a couple of minutes, and there was Tracy's pattern release, and I was wearing them on my feet. Unfortunately, because I had worn them the day before and I'd worn them to bed, I couldn't wear them to celebrate on the Friday. I could have, but no, I wasn't going to. But so I made sure I got them in the wash and all washed up to share again on the podcast. So I love these. They are wonderful in the super sock. So if you ever have a chance to work with Tracy's Nora George super sock, it is a dream to work with. And this colorway was just so fun. Look at those little pops of pink and green and orange. And there's like little mini stripes happening. Just so fun to do these socks. So a huge thank you to Tracy for letting me test knit this pattern. I actually begged her to let me test knit it, and thank you for letting me do that, Tracy. So these are the dewdrop pattern. They are out on Ravelry, and I would definitely recommend if you have a chance to knit them. They're just a nice, fun, simple pattern with a little bit of that little pretty detail, and just they are really, really comfortable. So that is all I have for It's a Softness, and let's talk about the other thing that I have been working on, since we're now, I guess, in my favorite things. I'll just put the 2 segments together, and I have made a pretty good dent on the All About That brioche shawl, and I'm almost done. I have 1 more repeat of the garter section, which is 6 rows, and then bind off. And I could have done it last night, but I was getting a little bit tired, and I thought, you know what, I'll leave it till tomorrow. Plus I had put a bunch of stitch markers on here that I want to show you because they just look so pretty. So this is my All About That brioche, and I've called the pattern, my project name, All About That base, because of course that's the name of the song, but I've spelt base B-A-S-E because I have used the Isaac base of the yarn. So this is Once Upon a Corgi, and I've got another little, this is Once Upon a Corgi in the Lemony Snicket colorway on the Isaac base, which is 100% Polworth. And this is Nice Guys Finish Dead, also on the Isaac base. And this is a shawl for my son, Isaac. So this is All About That base, and he loves Lemony Snicket, and we just thought the colors and the name of the yarns were fun too for the Nice Guys Finish Dead. So this is my All About That base. I started off with the Lemony Snicket, and way back when I put a progress keeper on, I started this at the end of September, and we are now in the new year. This was supposed to be for Isaac's birthday. It will be done for Valentine's Day. This is a lovely progress keeper that I put on that Tracy of Nora George gave me, and I believe I put that on at the end of last week's episode, just to show where I had been. And what I did with the brioche, I may have done it 2 weeks ago, and then this was last week. What I did with the brioche is there's supposed to be 3 repeats of this brioche and 3 repeats of this brioche. I was not going to have enough yarn, so I only did 2. So in fact, the shawl should be another little bit longer. With the brioche, it's not, because I didn't want to run out of yarn. So it will do. And now I have been working on the garter section of the Nice Guys Finished Dead. And there are 12 repeats of the garter section. And what I've been doing, just to count, is I've been using my Fun Corner of Craft stitch markers just to delineate every time I get to a repeat. So I am now at 11, and I've used my Fun Sloth. I've used a white snowflake, and let me just, I'm afraid I'm going to drop. I'm afraid I'm going to drop stitches in my needle, so I better find that. Where is my needle? Oh gosh, that was close, very close. Okay, let's hold them both. Nothing worse than being near the end of a project and having a ton of stitches drop off. So what I have done, just to show myself where each of the repeats are, because I get distracted, I have my lovely sloth, I have a white snowflake, I have a pink snowflake, I have a beautiful blue star, I have a fun little cloud, I have a pink unicorn, I have a purple unicorn, I have a beautiful green dragon and a gorgeous purple dragon. I have a fun mitten, which is just so gorgeous. And at the end, I have a fox. And now I have 6 more rows and bind off, and all about that brioche will be complete, and I will hopefully have it all blocked out, and I'll be able to share it next week on the podcast. So almost there. So it's been a while, but finally getting off the needles. And I decided yesterday, I was trying to figure out, do I want to work on a sock and get a really good chunk of one of the socks? So either my my New Year, well, was trying to decide whether I wanted to do my Christmas Eve cast on, my New Year's Eve cast on, or my Sock Society socks. So I had 3 to choose from, or all about that brioche. And I probably would have gone for a sock, except for I have a sock needle injury. And just using my Hiya-Hiyas, I just keep hitting that one spot. I have been putting lovely moleskin on my fingertip when I remember, so that I can knit without piercing my finger even more. Yesterday, because I was working on this, I did hit it a couple of times, but it's not as bad as when I'm using the 2.25 millimeter Hiya-Hiya sharps, and they go right inside the wound. That hurts a lot. So anyway, I bought some more moleskin, and I'll just cut them in little squares and just stick them on my fingertips so that I can work on the socks later this week. But yesterday I thought I'd give myself a little bit of a break. Plus I was having a chat with Lindsay on Instagram, and I said, which one shall I work on? And she said, work on the All About That Brioche. So Lindsay, I worked on the All About That Brioche. And that is all of the works in progress I'm going to share with you this week. No finished objects other than, of course, the lovely dewdrop socks. But since I've already shown them on the podcast and they've been done for such a long time, I don't really think they count. But they are beautiful, and they definitely needed to be shown again. This week on Brown Paper Packages, I do have some things to share with you. And this past Monday, I was home. So when the mailman pulled up in front of my house, I was definitely excited because there were a couple of packages on that date. And the first one was a lovely box, and I had purchased some yarn from Tracy of Nora George, and there were some extra fun things thrown in for me, including all of this tea. So from Wittard, there are lots of different flavors of tea. So I am drinking the English Rose. There is jasmine, afternoon tea, Earl Grey, Marrakesh mint, Russian Caravan, and Tippy Assam. So lots of tea for me to be drinking on tea time for sure. And that's the one I started off with today. So definitely feel spoiled by tea. But Tracy knows that there's something else that tastes wonderful with tea, and she sent me a whole bag of these, which is really bad for my diet, but really yummy for my tummy. And those are my favorite chocolate bars in the world, Twirls. So they're like a flake that's been dipped in chocolate. They are so, so yummy. So Tracy definitely has my number. She's already got me clocked with yarn. I know she's got a big update coming up this next week coming up, and oh, danger, danger. But throw chocolate in the mix, even more danger. So anyway, that was what was in with my yarn, and the yarn that I got was from a couple of updates ago, and this includes her Mary Poppins yarn. So this is It's a Jolly Holiday with Mary on Super Sock. But you can't have a jolly holiday with Mary just on Super Sock. You've also got to go with the glitter. So I had to get both because they're just so, so pretty. And I always love the Super Sock, but a little bit of glitter, you can't go wrong either. So I did order that. Hello, Tasha. Tasha has come to visit behind my back. And the other lovely thing that I got from that update is this gorgeous sweet nectarine, which, oh, so, so beautiful. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to make some socks out of this, and I'm not sure which pattern I'll use, but it's just so soft and delicate. I might use these for another pair of dewdrop socks. We shall see. But I absolutely love this colorway. I don't know how it's not sold out right now. I really don't. So if you like that, yes, I am enabling you. It is still in the shop because I haven't gone back. I was so tempted to get it sparkle base as well, but I got something else instead that I'll probably end up showing you next week. The next thing I'm going to share with you is also a package that arrived this past Monday, so I was home. And if you've tuned in before, you know I have a weakness for pink and green. So when I saw that the Scrappy Thread had this gorgeous pink and green project bag on her site that was going up, I was a goner. And I ordered this before Christmas, and I was hoping I might get it just in time for Christmas, but unfortunately, I have no idea what happened. And I was home every day during Christmas, and I was getting a little bit nervous because it just wasn't showing up, and into January, it wasn't showing up. And I decided to hit the track button on Etsy and saw that it was stuck in Vancouver. So on Christmas Day, it landed in Vancouver, and there must have been some amazing party in Vancouver because this bag stayed there for at least a couple of weeks, just hanging out in Vancouver. Maybe it went skiing. I would love to know the tales this bag has got to tell. And anyway, so it finally did make it to Toronto on Monday, and this is a beautiful sock bag, and I'm looking forward to putting some lovely spring socks into this project bag. And it's so well made, and just the fabrics are so me. Anyway, so that was as I said, I was a little bit worried, especially after the whole turtle pearl incident, that where's this bag, even though I had been home during the holidays, because I thought, well, it's got to be somewhere. I mean, it wasn't dropped off, and I saw the mailman every single day. So anyway, I'm happy to say that my beautiful Scrappy Thread bag is here. The final thing I'm going to share on brown paper packages this week is a spoiler alert. And it is a spoiler alert from one of the Scrumptious Pearl clubs. And this is the Princess Collection. So based on Disney princesses. And if you can see behind me, I kind of like my Disney. And I decided to sign up for the whole 6 months. So it was an investment, but I've now seen the first one. I am thrilled with it. So I'm very, very pleased that I did sign up. And as I said, spoiler alert, so if you are expecting the Scrumptious Pearl Princess Collection and you haven't received your first one yet and you don't want to see it, close your eyes, run screaming out of the room, do what you've got to do. But I am going to share the royal table right now. And the royal table is definitely scrumptious, definitely gorgeous, and it really reminds me of in Sleeping Beauty where they're changing the dress from pink to blue. That's what that reminds me of. And I think the royal table does refer to Sleeping Beauty, although I know that at Disney World, not Disneyland, in Florida, I believe the restaurant in Cinderella's castle is called the Royal Table. But I am thrilled with this, so I'm so glad I signed up. I had some doubts because it was a bit pricey, but if they are all going to be these beautiful colors, which of course they're Scrumptious Pearl, they're going to be, I'm going to be completely thrilled. So that is my spoiler, and for this week, that's all I've got to share on brown paper packages. It's Bits and Bob's time now, and Tasha has left the couch to go look at squirrels, and Scout has come up. And this week, unfortunately, the sickness has come into my house. So Greg got very sick on Thursday night. He pretty much spent Thursday night until this morning in bed, and it's now Sunday. So he's been up and about a little bit today, so that's at least a bit promising. Nathaniel's got a little bit of it, so this morning he had a lavender and tea tree infused bath, so hopefully that'll sort of help clear out. I'm all out of eucalyptus, so maybe I'll need to get some. And Isaac has luckily avoided the illness so far. He's between semesters, so he's had a few days just to relax. He wrote his English exam on Wednesday, and he has his dance exam and I think a vocal music performance that he's got to put together for his other classes later this week, and then he'll be starting the new semester at the end of the week. But he's been very lucky and had a few days off. Me, I've been super busy at work. I did have this past Monday off, which was lovely because I was able to stay home and knit all day, and I was able to get a really good chunk of work done on the socks that I've been working on. So I was able to share at least one of those half-finished objects, and I did finish the other one. So I think because I did have that day at home on Monday, I really feel like I had a really great knitting week and got a lot done. So that's always a wonderful feeling. Otherwise, we are still waiting for the caulking to happen in the bathroom. So we're just like a couple steps away from having the bathroom fully complete. And maybe next weekend, I'm hoping. It'll be nice to have a shower again. This morning I went out for a little bit and it was beautiful and sunny. Unfortunately now the sun has gone away, but at least it had warmed up a little bit. It was above zero, so that's always a nice feeling in January or February to go outside and not have it -20, because that is never fun. So other than sickness and semester changes, it's been a fairly uneventful week, a nice quiet one, and sometimes those are the best weeks, especially in January and February when the weather is unpredictable, and sometimes it's nice just to hibernate, and just enjoy some quiet time. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward to this week, some quiet time to work away on socks and just relax. We are about to get into the busy season at work, so just taking that time now to relax, refresh, drink lots of tea, eat lots of chocolate. Probably not such a good idea, but yeah, it'll be a nice quiet week ahead, I'm hoping. And that's all I think I've got to share for Bits and Bobs. Thank you so much for joining me on the Comfy Red Couch this week. I always appreciate the time that you give me, and I hope that you've had a chance to sit down, unwind, relax, refresh, get that little bit of time away from everybody else and work on whatever it is you are wanting to work on. I hope that you have a lovely week ahead, and I hope to see you next week on the Comfy Red Couch. Bye. I am all ready for my week ahead. Sock knitting. Moleskin cut, band-aids at the ready. Let the sock knitting begin.